as believers, we do know that there's no such thing as a Christian witch or a Christian tarot card reader or a Christian medium, right? We know this or no? Because I came across a post of someone professing to be a Christian tarot card reader. And they were arguing all their points, that it was biblical, that Joseph and Daniel did divination. What? And I was floored at the deception this person is currently under. And I want to talk about it. And I want to get just straight to what God says, because God gave a command in Deuteronomy 18, 10 through 12, where he says, "There shall not be found among you any one who makes his son or daughter pass through the fire, or one who practices witchcraft, or a soothsayer, or one who interprets omens, or a sorcerer, or one who conjures spells, or a medium, or a spiritist, or one who calls up the dead." Okay, the light is back on. I see what time it is. Then we go down to verse 14. And I love this because it says, "For the nations which you will dispossess, listen to soothsayers and diviners." This is the part I like. "But as for you, the children of God, the nation of God, the Lord your God has not appointed such for you." Then we go Deuteronomy 5 and 7. "You shall have no other God before me." That word "before" also translates to "in addition to" or "together with." So you can read that as, "You shall have no other God in addition to me or together with me." You cannot have God and your witchcraft. You cannot have God in your tarot cards, your crystals, whatever else you are using to summon a spirit, to get an answer. Anytime you go around God to get that, that is witchcraft. And his people, those who are called by his name, his nation, he forbids from doing such things. And then I also want to touch on the argument that it's biblical and that Joseph and Daniel did it. I wrote this down when in my alone time. "These men were set high above all the magicians and the diviners of the nations that they were captive of, because the Spirit of God was in them." Scripture never says that they practiced these things because they didn't need to. I love in Daniel where it says that the people knew, the kings and they knew that the Spirit of the Holy God was inside Daniel. I love that. They brought up the cup of divination. Oh, Joseph had a cup of divination. No, Joseph was above all the diviners in Egypt, right? He had access to those things, sure. But was he using them? No, he didn't need to use them. He had the Spirit of God in him that allowed him to interpret dreams, that gave him wisdom and strategy to give to the king. He didn't need a cup of divination. He used that cup of divination to plant on his brothers to keep them and to conceal his identity. Joseph was not doing witchcraft. Daniel was not doing witchcraft. And we absolutely need to kill that lie. We also know through scripture that God's chosen people, his nation that he loved, continuously rebelled against him. They followed after other gods. They They practice the customs and the religions of the nations and the people around them. Even after God forbid it, they did it anyway. That doesn't mean it's biblical in the sense that it's permitted to do. So you have to ask yourself, it comes down to this. Are you going to obey God and his command? Or are you going to follow in the footsteps of a rebellious, stiff-necked people? Choose this day who you will serve.